Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this evening's Lebanon Plan Commission meeting for the month of October. First order of business, obviously, we will call ourselves to order. Kelly, if you could call the roll.
Okay. Diane Scott, present. Kevin Krulik.
Here.
Corey Kuntz.
Here.
Keith Campbell.
Here.
Heather Schaller.
Here.
Rebecca Stanton.
Here.
Lori Gross.
Here.
And Dan Bayshore is absent.
All right. Thank you very much, Kelly. First item up is the approval of the minutes. We all got a copy of the minutes from August the 19th. And if there's no questions on those, I would entertain a motion. We've got a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
A second.
Oh, half the board seconded. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That does carry. Thank you very much. Now, the next item we have on here, we do have election of officers. We were anticipating a full board for this meeting. However, it looks as though we may have a full plan commission at the next meeting. So with the commission's blessing, I'd like to hold that off until next meeting, if that works for everyone. We've got a motion to table.
I'll give a motion to table till next meeting.
You would second then?
I'll second.
Yep. So we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Perfect. Thank you very much, guys. Old business, I show nothing on the docket here, so we are going to move forward to our very full new business agenda. Ben, are you ready for a fun evening?
We are ready for a fun evening.
First item up is docket number 24-34. It's Boone REMC.
All right, Boone REMC, what's before you tonight is a development plan approval, and this is for the expansion and redevelopment of their property that everyone knows on Indianapolis Avenue. That address is 1207 Indianapolis Avenue. Property is currently zoned general business and in the Thoroughfare Overlay District. And so we will start with an overview of the site that you will see here currently. Indianapolis Avenue is again to the southwest. Here is their primary campus, if you will, right now. And if you recall, they did purchase the old John Deere site to their south, and they have used some of those buildings. They have torn some of those buildings down. They're using some of the area for storage. Given the anticipation of growth that we see in Boone County and that REMC expects in their territory, they're looking to do a pretty significant redevelopment of this campus to accommodate growth in their employees and also in equipment and materials and all that good stuff. And so that what is before you here tonight is a development plan request for that redevelopment effort. And so we will start, and this will be a little bit hard to kind of picture. Now, obviously, where Indianapolis Avenue is going straight north and south on this site plan as opposed to diagonal like it normally does. And as you can kind of see here, this is a big overview of the site and the improvements that they're proposing. They do have an existing building that sits up in here in this area. This actually represents a new construction project to build a new admin building. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do this instead. This gives you a little bit better idea. This is looking southeast over Indianapolis Avenue. So this shows you the new admin building here, office building you see. In the background of that then is the ops warehouse and rolling stock building. And then further down on the old John Deere site, then you see they have storage, a couple of additional storage buildings and some covered storage and a storage yard kind of in the center there. So I'll go back and highlight that here. That's the new admin building. There are the two storage warehouses building. There's covered storage. And then here's the kind of the rolling stock storage yard that you see here. There's an existing industrial user, Sharkco, that sits right here out in front. They do have access points on the north and the south here. The entire facility is fenced in for security. What this will represent a total redevelopment of the site. All their existing structures will be replaced over time. They are going to phase this so that they can obviously maintain operations. So this is all situated so that they can construct something new while they're still using something existing, then tear down the existing and redevelop the other portions of the site over time. So I will let them, the applicant, talk about that with you in more detail. But this is a development plan application. And so that's what we did review. This went through our technical reviews. Actually, let me talk about the history a little bit here. This did come to the Board of Zoning Appeals, their October 7th meeting a couple of weeks ago. A couple different variances that they did request. One was non-residential fence and wall standards. Our standards would require fences in front yards on commercial properties to be limited to 4 feet tall. And this is a security fence, so they did want it to be at 6 feet tall. So the area in question would be this fence that you see down here on the south part of the property where it comes out in the front yard in front of these buildings. And what they did is they did get a variance to allow for the additional height, but they committed to providing a decorative metal fence in this area where the rest of it is primarily vinyl coated chain link. So they did do a decorative metal there. The other one is the architectural standards. And in the thoroughfare overlay district, it's required to be 50% masonry on all buildings on all sides. Because they have a large campus, some of it hiding behind other buildings, what they did is they met the masonry requirements on these buildings that are closest to Indianapolis Avenue, but then requested a variance to allow some alternative materials like masonry block and metal panels on these buildings that are further to the back where they're hidden more from visibility. So they did get that variance approved at the BZA meeting a couple weeks ago as well. Now on to development plan process. It did go through our technical review, so we do have some comments that they're working on from Lebanon Utilities and engineering comments that have been provided. So they are working through those. They've responded to some already. Once they have met all those comments, then they would be able to start construction, assuming they get development plan approval tonight. In terms of what we review for on the planning side, we do review the site to make sure that it meets all applicable standards of the Unified Development Ordinance. You can see in the staff report, we did provide a comparison of the site with the general business standards. They do meet all the minimum lot size and width requirements, front setbacks. They more than meet all those setback requirements, as well as the max building height. Some of you may recall in our new UDO update that was adopted in February, we actually changed our parking requirements from minimum standards to maximum standards. We wanted to be a little bit more diligent about reviewing sites to make sure they're not overparked. So in this case, we did the evaluation for their office space and warehouse space, and they do provide exactly the maximum amount of parking required. They did find that they needed those parking spaces that are provided for in our maximum parking requirements. So that's what they've done, is they've met that. We did evaluate their lighting plan and ensure that they do meet all of the lighting standards, and that is that at each property line, they're at 0.5 foot candles or less at all property lines. In terms of landscaping and buffer yards, see if I can find that page without my computer freezing up on this large file. So you guys want me to go through all of the depths of all the storm sewers and stuff like that while we're here?
Please read them aloud.
Here is the landscape plan. You can see here they've provided the thoroughfare plan overlay buffer planting requirements on Indianapolis Avenue. They've got all of the parking perimeter landscaping requirements adhered to on the parking lot here that you see north of the building. Building-based landscaping as required by the thoroughfare plan overlay that you can see here. Again, interior parking landscaping provided on all lots as required by the ordinance. And so they have met the landscape plans. In terms of signage, they have provided some general sign locations on the building elevations, but haven't provided complete details of that yet. I'm sure that's something that they're still working on as part of their design process. And we would just include in there a recommendation. And when I get to that, a condition that they would submit that sign package, and we'll ensure that it meets all applicable sign requirements before they would install any signage. And then in terms of architecture review, I did already kind of go through that. This gives you the highlights here. Again, they have met all of those applicable thoroughfare overlay standards for the buildings that are most proximate to Indianapolis Avenue. It is a mix of brick veneer and architectural metal panels. And then they move towards more of a block masonry on the rear buildings with additional architectural metal panels that you can kind of see here represented in this rendering. So they have met all architectural standards of the UDO when also considering that variance that was approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals. So with that then, staff recommendation, we do find compliance with the Unified Development Ordinance requirements for the subject site and recommend approval of the development plan contingent on the following conditions. The first would be that the applicant adequately addresses any remaining City of Lebanon Technical Advisory Committee comments. And number two, the sign plan, that they would submit a signage package that meets all applicable UDO standards prior to installation of any signage. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ben. Commission, any questions for Ben?
And one quick question. I hadn't noticed it before, but the fueling station on the south property line, southwest corner, is that acceptable, front of the building like that?
Yeah, let me see if I can find one where you can see it. So we can at least explain where we're talking about, but yes, it is okay where it's shown. Because it's essentially, I mean, it's not behind, but it's directly next to the front. So as long as it's not out in front of the building, it's okay. But in this case, it's essentially parallel to that elevation that you see there, roughly in that location. But it is behind the fence and all landscaping that would be out on Indianapolis Avenue as well.
Thank you. Any other questions for Ben?
I know I've asked this before, but on the landscaping, I think it's important that we have that. How are they going to be maintaining it and who polices that? Like, I know we're gonna have beautiful landscaping, but you look some of these buildings and how do we know that, all of this landscaping is gonna be maintained and what happens if it's not?
Yeah, so our ordinance has some requirements in it for maintenance, and we have the ability to go back and say, hey, you've got 7 trees that died and need to be replaced. So
Weeds,
yeah, yes, all of the
Okay.
above necessary. Yeah, and we do oftentimes send letters to people that it's really bad in terms of the weeds, et cetera. But there are some places where it's just not quite maintained to perfection, I guess. But yeah, in terms of landscaping dies, it has to be replaced. Those beds have to be maintained. So yeah, that's something that our office also oversees as well.
Any other questions for Ben? Does the applicant wish to speak? No, unless you have questions. Any questions from the commission? Nope. Perfect. So with that, we are going to open a public hearing. So the public hearing is officially open. If you wish to speak, please step to the microphone. Let us know who you are, where you're from, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing no movement towards the microphone, we will go ahead and close the public hearing on docket 24-34. And if there's no additional questions from the commission, I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the development plan with the following conditions: that all TAC comments are adequately addressed and a signed plan is put in place.
All right, so we do have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming, guys. Appreciate it. The next item I have up on my agenda, Ben, are we going to 24-35 or?
No, they had requested that
Gotcha.
that would move to the end, so we'll be at 2438.
Awesome. So we, Commission, we have a number of dockets here that are going to be kind of in a similar vein. So Ben's going to give us a overview of the next handful of dockets, and we'll address them each one at a time from a public hearing and vote perspective.
All right, pull up one more item here. Here in a moment, as soon as I get to what I'm looking for. Okay, what we have here for you this evening is a series of annexations within the LEAP area. And we have 10 different annexation requests because they are all, like we've done a couple of times now, you'll see here they're filling in holes within the areas that have been annexed previously. So that's what you see represented here. Because they're not contiguous to each other, they have to be their own individual annexation. And so thus we have 10 different ones. So what I'll do is I'll give you a broad overview of all of them. And then I'll do a quick intro for each one. We'll hold the public hearing for each one and then have a recommendation for each one. These are 100% voluntary annexations, meaning that we have a petition and a request for annexation from the current property owners. So they are 100% voluntary. This is a process that first involves the Plan Commission, and the Plan Commission's responsibility here is to review and recommend a zoning district for the annexed territory. That is the Plan Commission's responsibility, essentially to review the comprehensive plan, determine the appropriate zoning district based on that comprehensive plan and what's anticipated for the area. In each of these cases, they are in the comprehensive plan designated as part of the LEAP Innovation District. And so in each of these cases, we have recommended the LEAP zoning district for the annexed territory. So once then the Plan Commission would provide that recommendation on the zoning district this evening, then these are all forwarded to the Common Council in the form of an annexation ordinance, and that ordinance then would consider adoption and then also the consideration of the recommended zoning district from the Plan Commission this evening. The process for that then would be after tonight's meetings, assuming those recommendations are made, the annexation ordinances would be introduced next Monday evening, which is October 28th. And that would be the first reading. And then the second readings would be on November 12th, which is actually a Tuesday because Monday is a holiday. So that meeting will be on November 12th, a Tuesday. That would be the consideration of the fiscal plan associated with the annexations, and then also the second reading and potential theoretical adoption of those annexation ordinances on November 12th. So that is a quick overview of the process. As you can see here, most of these are single site. There's a couple that have 2 properties in them. A number of them are between 1 and 3 acres. There's one that's larger that you see here, scattered throughout the LEAP district. This is State Road 32 heading out west. So you can see they kind of run on the north and south sides of State Road 32 is heading out west. There is one lonely annexation that's up here on Witt Road, just south of the Eli Lilly site that you see here. There's a single site annexation up here as well. So that is the quick overview. I don't know if Scott, if you or Kent has anything you wanted to add to this, and then we'll go through each one individually.
Sure thing. Scott Alexander, I represent the IEDC. I'm with Taft Law. I think it's been about a year since we did the last round of annexations, so I thought I'd just kind of update you a little bit on where we are in the LEAP district. As of the end of this year, LEAP will have purchased just over 6,000 acres, and that is IEDC will have closed on those purchases. Other properties are under contract, but as of the end of this year, that's where we'll be. So we're significantly over halfway through, really almost 2/3 of the way through this process. What we try to do is, as we get a clump of additional properties under contract or closed, then we will have those annexed in. So that's what we're doing in this case. We'll probably do this again maybe in 6 months or so. We've, I think, got 4 properties under contract since I actually submitted this petition. So we'll wait a little bit, see, and probably do another 10 or so at that time. This annexation is about 104 acres, give or take. And again, all of it is within the district and is really kind of surrounded by other properties that have been zoned in the LEAP district. So it's consistent with everything that we have anticipated and spoken to you all about over the last couple of years. With that, any questions, I'd be happy to answer them about the annexed properties.
Thank you, Scott. Any questions for Scott or Ben?
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Right, we will go into each one of these individually now.
So if you guys recall back a handful of months ago, I think the most efficient, effective way is Ben's going to display the map area that is affected. So everybody kind of has an idea of the areas we're looking at. We'll then open the public hearing. Any public is more than welcome to speak. And then we'll address each docket individually and just go through the list that way. So Ben?
All right, we will start with docket number 24-38. This is Project LEAP Phase 25 annexation. So I'm going to go up and pull up the map. This is two parcels that you see here. Again, this is State Road 32. This is the curve on State Road 32 right at 325 West. So we have two properties here. It's a total of a little over 4 acres. The addresses of these two parcels are 3255 and 3260 West State Road 32. Again, as I mentioned, these are being annexed, 100% voluntary annexation. They are within the future land use map and the comprehensive plan within the LEAP Innovation District. And planning staff recommends that the Plan Commission recommend the LEAP zoning classification for the proposed annexed territory to the Common Council.
All right, thank you, Ben. So with that, we will officially open the public hearing. Again, this public hearing is in reference to docket 24-38, which is the two addresses Ben just mentioned. We'll follow the same rules as we did in the first round. Feel free to approach the mic. Seeing no movement towards the microphone, we will close the public hearing. And if there are not any additional questions from the commission, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we recommend the LEAP zoning classification for this annexed territory to the Common Council.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We've got a motion and a second. We'll do a simple vote on this one again. So all those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. Docket 24-39.
All right, this is Project LEAP Phase 26 annexation. If they pull up the map here, this is a single parcel annexation that you see again is just west of the curve on West State Road 32. The address of this annexation, again, it's 662 North 300 West. It's approximately 3 acres that you see represented here. And again, planning staff recommends that the Plan Commission recommend the LEAP zoning classification for the proposed annexed territory.
Right, thank you very much, Ben. So with that, we'll again open a public hearing. Public hearing is officially open for docket 24-39. Please feel free to step to the microphone. Seeing no sudden movements, we will close that public hearing. And with that, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to recommend the LEAP zoning classification to the annexed territory to the Common Council.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. Ben, you might as well not even maybe sit
Yeah, I
down.
probably should sit closer, shouldn't I? I'm
You're
getting my
getting your
steps
steps in, though.
Yeah, I'm giving it a shot.
24-40.
All right, 24-40 docket number is Project LEAP Phase 27 annexation, which you see represented here on the screen. This is approximately 5 acres located on North 250 West. And again, you can see State Road 32 to the south. The approximate address of this is 750 North 250 West. Again, this is 5 acres just north of State Road 32. And again, staff recommends that the Plan Commission recommend the LEAP zoning classification for the proposed annexed territory.
Thank you very much. So we will, again, open the public hearing on docket 24-40 on the 5-acre parcel. Please feel free to step towards the microphone. I'm going to record that, I think. Just go. Seeing no motions to the microphone, we will close the public hearing, and I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for a favorable recommendation to the, for the LEAP zoning classification to the annexed territory to the Common Council for item 24-40.
Got a motion. Do we have a second? Got a motion and a second from Keith. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. 24-41.
All right, docket number 24-41 is the Project LEAP Phase 28 annexation that you see represented here on the map. This is an approximately 2-acre parcel that's located on West 25 North. It's about 1,800 feet east of North 400 West. The address of the parcel is 3620 West 25 North. This again is recommended for the LEAP zoning classification for the proposed annexed territory.
Thank you, Ben. So we will open the public hearing for 24-41. If you have any comments, please feel free to step to the microphone. Seeing no movement towards the microphone, we will close the public hearing on 24-41, and I would entertain a motion.
I'll motion that the Planning Commission recommend the LEAP zoning classification for the proposed annexation territory to the Common Council, docket number 24-41.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. On to 24-42.
All right, docket number 24-42 is Project LEAP Phase 29 annexation. You see represented here on the map. This is actually a little bit less than an acre. It's about 0.67 acres. It's on South 300 West that you see represented here. The address is 40 South 300 West. Again, 100% voluntary annexation of that parcel. And again, we recommend that the Plan Commission recommend the LEAP zoning classification for the proposed annexation territory.
Thank you, Ben. So with that, we will open the public hearing for docket 24-42. If you have any comments, please step to the mic. Seeing no one headed towards the microphone, I will close the public hearing on docket 24-42 and entertain a motion.
Make a motion to recommend the LEAP zoning classification to the annexed territory to the Common Council.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. On to docket 24-43.
Right, almost halfway there. Docket number 24-43 is Project LEAP Phase 30 annexation that you see represented here on the map. And this is an approximately 2-acre site here that's on North 250 West. Again, a 100% voluntary annexation. The address is 1195 North 250 West. Again, it's a 2-acre parcel you see represented here in the yellow. And again, staff has recommended that the Plan Commission recommend the LEAP zoning classification for the proposed annexed territory.
Thank you, Ben. We'll open the public hearing for docket 24-43. Please feel free to step to the microphone. Seeing no one headed for a comment, we will officially close the public hearing on docket 24-43, and I would entertain a motion.
I'll motion the Planning Commission recommend the LEAP zoning classification for the proposed annexation territory to the Common Council, docket number 24-43.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. Docket 24-44.
All right, docket number 24-44 is the Project LEAP Phase 31 annexation you see represented here on the map. And this is a little over 1 acre. It's 1.13 acres. It's located on State Road 32 just before the curve. The address of this property is 2517 West State Road 32. Again, this is a 100% voluntary annexation, and staff has recommended that the Plan Commission recommend the LEAP zoning classification for the proposed annexation territory.
Thank you, Ben. So I will open the public hearing on docket number 24-44. If you have any comments, please head to the microphone. Seeing none, and in honor of Dallas Clark and his new Ring of Honor, we will close the public hearing on docket 24-44, and I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for a favorable recommendation for the LEAP zoning classification for the annexed territory to the Common Council for item 24-44.
Very much. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second from Keith. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. 24-45.
Docket number 24-45 is Project Leap Phase 32 annexation, and this is our lonely parcel up on the north side, up close to Eli Lilly. This is an approximately 1 acre parcel you see represented here on the map. The address of this territory, annexation territory, is 3338 North 150 West. Again, you see represented here, it's 1 acre piece of property, 100% voluntary annexation. And again, staff recommends that the Plan Commission recommend the LEAP zoning classification for the proposed annexation territory.
Thank you, Ben. We will open the public hearing on docket number 24-45. If you have any comments, please feel free to step to the microphone. Seeing no motion towards the microphone, we will close the public hearing on docket 24-45, and I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to recommend the LEAP zoning classification to the proposed annexed territory to the Common Council.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. Docket 24-46.
All right, docket number 24-46. This is Project LEAP Phase 33 annexation. You see represented here on the map. We're actually down on the south side of the LEAP area. This is a 2 acre parcel that is on West 50 South. The exact address is 2530 West 50 South. Again, a 100% voluntary annexation that meets all contiguity requirements. And again, staff has recommended that the Plan Commission recommend the LEAP zoning classification for the proposed annexation territory.
Thank you, Ben. I will open the public hearing on docket number 24-46. Any comments, please feel free to step towards the microphone. Seeing no mad rushes, I will close the public hearing on docket 24-46 and entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend the LEAP zoning classification to the proposed annexed territory to the Common Council.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify with an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. Docket 24-47.
All right, docket number 24-47 is Project LEAP Phase 34 annexation, and this is actually 2 parcels that you see represented here in the yellow outline. It's a little over 5 acres, about 5.36 acres located on South 400 West. The addresses of the 2 parcels are 95 and 175 South 400 West. Again, this is a 100% voluntary annexation, meets all contiguity requirements. And staff does recommend that the Plan Commission recommend the LEAP zoning classification for the proposed annexation territory.
We'll officially open the public hearing for docket 24-47. Please feel free to step towards the microphone if you have any comments. Seeing no movement towards the microphone, I will officially close the public hearing on docket 24-47 and entertain a motion.
A motion to recommend the LEAP zoning classification for the proposed annexation territory to the Common Council, docket number 24-47.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion does carry. Ben.
And we have one more annexation item, docket number 24-48. This is Project LEAP Phase 35 annexation. This is the largest of the annexations we'll be seeing tonight. This is approximately 77.73 acres. It is 2 parcels that you see represented here, one larger parcel and then one small parcel up in the northwest corner. The addresses of these 2 parcels are 2051 and 2155 West State Road 32. You can see the business park just off to the east here, so it's right on the south side of State Road 32, just west of the business park. Again, this is a 100% voluntary annexation, meeting all contiguity requirements. And again, staff does recommend that the Plan Commission recommend the LEAP zoning classification for the proposed annexation territory.
Thank you very much, Ben. And for one more time on the annexations, I will officially open the public hearing on docket number 24-48. If you have any public comment, please feel free to address the microphone. No movement towards the microphone. I will close the public hearing for docket 24-48 and entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend the LEAP zoning classification for the proposed annexed territory to the Common Council.
Very much. We do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to skip a number because that's how we roll. And we're going to go to docket 24-50. Ben, what do you have for us on this one?
All right, we're going to continue the LEAP theme here. Docket number 24-50 is a text amendment to our Unified Development Ordinance related to Chapter 4, which is the LEAP district. And this is an amendment that came up a few months ago as we were discussing what is now the site of the Pod Project Matrix, or the Eli Lilly Medicine Foundry, which is actually, if they want to pull up the map, is this area south of State Road 32, part of that area we just annexed with that last annexation. It's a 200-acre site that sits right here in this northeast corner of this large Site 19. The question that was posed to us is this concept plan that was adopted as part of Chapter 4 LEAP District in our Unified Development Ordinance identified this area within the megasite subdistrict. Megasites, in general terms, are 1,000 acres or larger. They're significant sized buildings. This is a site for Eli Lilly that is 200 acres, significantly smaller. It more meets the characteristics of a different subdistrict, which is the advanced manufacturing subdistrict. So the question that was posed to us is how do we modify the concept plan now that's been adopted in the ordinance? And the answer is that it has to be amended by the Plan Commission and Common Council as part of a text amendment. The next question then was how do we make this more efficient if we have to make changes in the future? Because we have an idea what we think some of these users might be, but we don't know until we have specific users. So we need to create some sort of flexibility into how we assign the sub-districts in some of these areas, so that we don't have to come back to the Plan Commission Council every time we have to change one of these sites for a specific user. So in addition tonight to modifying the concept plan, we're also going to amend the text of the Unified Development Ordinance to create that process. What I'll show you here in a second, we essentially have created this area as a hybrid advanced manufacturing megasite subdistrict. And what will happen then is as a user is identified, then staff will look at the characteristics of that project and decide whether it better fits within the advanced manufacturing subdistrict or within the megasite subdistrict. And so that would be something that'll be a staff determination. If the user disagrees with our determination, then it also sets up a process for them to be able to appeal that determination to the Board of Zoning Appeals, similar to any other staff determination that they make based on the Unified Development Ordinance. So what you see here in the map is the concept plan that was adopted in February. As you can see, we have the light purple that you see primarily in the north part of the LEAP district is the advanced manufacturing subdistrict. The yellow is the mixed use area, and then the darker purple would be the megasite subdistrict area. So that is the current concept plan. The proposed concept plan, you now see that the Eli Lilly site has been designated to the northeast here. And you again see the light purple advanced manufacturing primarily on the north. You will see that Site 17 and Site 18, their boundaries changed a little bit. Site 18 got a little bit bigger, and it's still within the megasite subdistrict. Site 17 got a little bit smaller. The boundary is now 450 west rather than 400 west. And that was transferred to the advanced manufacturing, which again, more appropriate for a site of that size. And the primary changes you'll see are for everything south of State Road 32. Site 23 is a site for Project Matrix that we just discussed. It's a 200-acre site you see here that has been assigned to the advanced manufacturing subdistrict. And then the remainder is when now a new light blue category that is the hybrid megasite advanced manufacturing, as I mentioned earlier. And again, those sites may there may be a single user that comes in that assembles all of this property and it makes more sense in the mega site subdistrict, or it may come in more like what you see here, sites 19 through 24. It would be smaller sites that may be more appropriate in the advanced manufacturing subdistrict. The uses that are permitted in each of those subdistricts are very similar. It's primarily the site characteristics that would be different, sizes of buildings. Mega sites typically have much larger buildings on larger sites. Advanced manufacturing, in some cases, may be a campus style, which is more like what Eli Lilly's doing with the Project Matrix site. And obviously the sites are much smaller scale. So what this does is it establishes this new concept plan, and then the text amendment, and I'll walk through each of the specifics of that here in a second, would establish the process by which we review the projects that come in for development plan approval and assign them to that subdistrict. So I'll move to that here. This would be in section 4.3 of the Unified Development Ordinance. Chapter 4 is the LEAP subdistrict. And in section 4.3, this is actually descriptions of each of the subdistrict categories. And so we're adding an item D to this which would be a description of the hybrid mega site advanced manufacturing subdistrict. And this indicates that the hybrid IMIA subdistrict has parcels comprising a site that shall either be designated mega site or advanced manufacturing, depending on the end user's proposed use, the size of the parcel, and any other legally relevant criteria set forth above in section 4.3 or A or B. Any parcel designated in the hybrid subdistrict shall be designated either mega site or advanced manufacturing via a ministerial assignment from the zoning administrator pursuant to the criteria set forth in section 9.9 of the UDO. The second amendment is section 4.4, which is essentially amended to include the revised concept plan that we just discussed with the new hybrid subdistrict. Section 414 is amended to include a new section 414G, which is administrative review of the hybrid subdistrict classification. And there is an item A and item B that have been added, proposed to be added. After receiving information from a petitioner related to a petition for development review related to land located within the hybrid subdistrict based on project size, use, and other criteria set forth in section 4.3 and based upon the mega site or advanced manufacturing subdistrict descriptions, zoning administrator shall does designate the impacted parcel as being located in either mega site or advanced manufacturing subdistrict. The site shall then be subject to the design and development criteria and standards set forth under the designated zoning subdistrict. And item B then says any determination made by the zoning administrator under this section shall be treated as an administrative decision appealable to the Board of Zoning Appeals per section 8.3. And then section 9.9 is also amended to add a new section A10 under duties. The administrator has a principal responsibility for administration and enforcement of this ordinance, and the duties relate to the delegated by the Plan Commission and the administrator include a new item 10 that says that to determine the assignment of the subdistrict classifications for the hybrid mega site advanced manufacturing subdistrict pursuant to the guidelines set forth in section 414. So that is a quick, not so quick, description of the amendments that we're proposing to chapter 4. This, again, is a process that has multiple steps. The first step tonight is the Plan Commission. The Plan Commission's responsibility is to review the proposal and make a recommendation to the Common Council, similar to the annexations we just heard. So your responsibility now is to review this and provide a recommendation on these to the Common Council. And then any text amendment would be an ordinance that is considered by the Common Council. And that will, again, be 2 readings of that ordinance in front of the Common Council. Again, the first reading would be October 28th, which is next Monday evening. And the second reading then would be on November 12th, which is a Tuesday for that ordinance to be considered by the Common Council. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ben. Commission, any questions for Ben? Seeing none, this is an item that we will again open a public hearing. So all right, so before we open the public hearing, then go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
Oh, in terms of the item for the record, did you want me to talk about that? Oh, I'm sorry.
Allowing,
Scott,
yeah.
do you have anything else you want to add on this?
Yeah, so before we get to the public hearing, if we have any comments from the applicant.
I have to pull the map up again.
Got it. Again, just to add a little bit of context, went through a lot here. Scott Alexander, again, for the record, I represent IEDC. I'm with Taft Law. So why are we doing what we're doing here? Here's the information we have as of today. With respect to Site 18, some may ask, well, why isn't that kind of that turquoise blue that might be subject to this hybrid area that might go one way or another depending on usage? The reason is we're in active negotiations with Site 18, and it is 1,500 acres. So there was no need for us to change that. With respect to Site 23, why is that not a turquoise site? That is the, got to get this right, the Lilly Medicine Foundry area. We know what that site looks like. And as we're marketing, IEDC marketing to end users, it's important for us. We show people the PUD and we say, if you're a mega site, here's what the requirements are. If you're in advanced manufacturing, here's what the requirements are. So when you look at Site 18, we've showed the end user those requirements. They're comfortable with those. So that's why it stays that shade. Site 23, the Lilly Medicine Foundry area, obviously that's appropriate for what we all envisioned for the advanced manufacturing. So what is left is the turquoise area. And that's the part that is the hybrid. So here's how that works. Let's say Site 19 and Site 20 become a mega site. We get site company X comes in. Well, that's going to be over 1,000 acres. So we would likely ministerially take that to the purple, and that would be a mega site. Let's say that Site 20 stays as is at 642 acres. In all likelihood, that would be advanced manufacturing. So we don't know, we haven't been far enough along with the other end users for the turquoise areas, and so that's the hybrid nature of it. So it allows the flexibility for the planning director to then assign the appropriate zoning consistent with the PUD that has been passed since May of 2023. So I just wanted to add that context to see how it works. Any questions there?
Questions for Scott from the commission?
Thank you.
Good deal. Thank you very much, Scott. So with that, then we will open the public hearing. So the public hearing is officially open on docket number 24-50. This is in reference to amending the LEAP UDO vocabulary. Anyone that is interested in speaking, please feel free to step to the microphone. Seeing no sudden movements, I will then officially close the public hearing on docket 24-50. And just as a reminder for the commission, again, this is looking for a recommendation to the Common Council. With that, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to forward the proposed text amendments to the Common Council with a favorable recommendation.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. Thank you very much. And I believe I have one more item on our agenda, and that's docket 24-35.
All right, docket number 24-35 is Lilly Lebanon requesting an amendment to an approved development plan for their campus located at 1400 West 375 North. And for the record, I do want to indicate that they asked to be last on the agenda. We didn't put them there, so they just wanted to wait and then for the entire meeting to see how we run it before that they get to go. So as you recall, they have a development plan that was approved. Let me get my information out. That was approved in 2023, March 2023 Plan Commission approval for the primary plat and development plan for the Lilly site on the north side of town. They have now announced a new investment on this site that is commonly known as LP1X, or known internally, I guess, as LP1X. And this does involve some changes to the site, and involves both additions and deletions to the approved development plan from 2023. And given the scale of those changes, we made the determination that that would require a new development plan approval and plan commission consideration of those changes to the development plan. So in a moment here, I will pull up the overall site, and it's going to be at such a scale that it's going to be really difficult for you to see the details on it because the site is 600 acres. And the file is so big that I will see if my computer will even open it up without freezing. And I'll blame Andy Taylor for that. He's the one that sent me this large file. All right, it's coming. So I'm gonna stay very high level in terms of the changes. And so what I've highlighted in yellow here are additions to the site. And what's in red are deletions from the site. So we'll start with the yellow, go from west to east. As you can see here, in the center here is the solar array that had been approved as part of their development plan. They have since expanded that solar array to both the north and the south in order to provide some additional solar energy to this project. So that is the first one, is the expanded solar array. And then we'll kind of come here. Again, it's really hard to tell, but I'm going by all this by memory because I certainly can't read it. This is small molecule 1 that you'll see here. And in yellow, just to the north, is now small molecule 2. It is an additional small molecule building. I'll let them explain what each one of these buildings will do. And then the additional yellow down here to the southeast is peptides 2. And if you'll recall, there were 2 peptides buildings that were approved as part of the development plan in 2023. This building, the footprints has since expanded to the east. So it is a larger footprint that you see represented here than what it was before. So more square footage that's there. The last yellow that you see on the northeast, this is actually an additional substation. So not quite as exciting as the rest of them, but it is something that's been added, and this just froze up. So hopefully it'll still do what I need. What is in red here is what was the oligonucleotides building that was approved as part of their original development plan approval. That project has since been pulled from the development plan. It is no longer part of this plan. So that has been off. And so that is at a very high level, the changes to the overall development plan, and they're just totally shut down. So hopefully I'll be able to open up some of them later for some of the other items here. Now, in terms of review, the UDO also has changed since the last time they received development plan approval. So they were subject to new requirements on this site that they weren't before. Although not significant changes, there were a few minor changes to the landscape requirements. So they'd keep a lot of their landscape plan. I don't even know that it'll be worth me trying to open this up because it's bigger than the one that just froze up. But I will let you know there are still thousands of plants on their landscape plan. They made a few minor changes here and there. The solar array meets all the landscape buffering requirements from the interstate. There is ground cover requirements under the solar field, and they have met all of those requirements. All buildings meet all landscaping requirements. All parking lots meet all landscaping requirements. All of the mounds and buffers that they had previously proposed on all of their perimeters, those all remain just as they had proposed them previously. There was just some minor changes to the internal parts of the sites on the landscaping as part of the UDO changes. Otherwise, again, they meet all of those requirements. Let me see if I can pull this one up because it's not quite as big. So this is some of the perspectives. This is the southeast corner of the site, looking northwest, and this is showing you what you will see of peptide 2 from 375 as you're looking northwest into the site. This is again looking at peptide 2. Look again, you've gone further west on 375, looking back to the northeast, give you an idea what that's going to look like. Oops, and again, you're now on the curve of 375 by Witt Road. Again, now you're seeing peptide 1 in the foreground and peptide 2 in the background. It's froze up on me. Let me see if I can do it another way. Again, you're up on 450 looking south at small molecule. This is the closest property line to where small molecule 2 is. You can see it's quite a bit ways off in the distance where small molecule is located. Again, on 450 looking south at small molecule from the northern emergency entrance. That's what you see in the foreground here is small molecule. And again, based on the buffers, the large mounds and landscaping, not a whole lot you see if when you're on 450 looking back southwest towards small molecule. So that gives you an idea, at least from the property perimeters, what you're going to see in terms of the changes to the site. So again, that is a quick overview of the development plan amendment. We have reviewed this for technical compliance. And so we've got comments in here from Lebanon Utilities, city engineer, fire department, et cetera. And they are working on accommodating all of those staff comments. Actually quite a ways through that already. In terms of UDO standards, now this is one side, if you'll recall, this is not in the LEAP zoning district because this project existed prior to the creation of that LEAP zoning district. So this is actually still in our general industrial zoning district. And so we did review the amended development plan according to the general industrial zoning district standards, and it does meet all applicable lot size, lot width, and setback requirements. We have provided a summary of the parking that has been provided that meets all of our UDO standards, and you can see it's broken down by each individual building that's located on the campus. The lighting plan, again, there are not many significant changes to the lighting plan based on the amended development plan, but it does meet all applicable light standards. And in this case, its property lines will not exceed 0.5 foot candles or 0.3 foot candles where adjacent to existing residential uses, and they do meet all those standards. In terms of landscaping, I talked about it generally. Here's just a quick summary. The perimeter buffers along I-65, it's a type B interstate overlay buffer, which is 6 trees and 15 shrubs every 100 feet. The north and east property lines is a type F buffer, which is 8 trees and 15 large shrubs every 100 feet plus the berm. South property line is a type D buffer, again, 8 trees and 15 large shrubs every 100 feet plus the berm. And on the solar array, as I mentioned, there is a buffer requirement along Interstate 65 side, which includes 2 rows of staggered evergreens, 2 feet taller than the equipment for the entire length of the solar array, plus a perennial vegetative ground cover seed mix for all turf within the solar array field. In addition to all those buffers, all sites, buildings, and parking lots include all the required landscaping plantings as required by the Unified Development Ordinance. In terms of signage, there hasn't been any substantive changes to the signage plan from what was approved previously. And then architecture review, again, I did show you some of those elevations you see there, and these are all complementary that was approved previously and does meet all applicable requirements of the Unified Development Ordinance. So with that then, staff recommendation on the development plan as presented, we do find compliance with the Unified Development Ordinance requirements and recommend approval of the amended development plan contingent on the following conditions, and that would be that the applicant adequately address any remaining City of Lebanon Technical Advisory Committee comments. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Ben. Any questions from the commission for Ben? Seeing none, would the applicant care to speak?
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Massey from Eli Lilly and Company, and thanks for the time this evening to talk. Thanks for Ben. We actually wanted to go last because we wanted to hear you talk some more. So, but do appreciate the time. I'm going to just add some additional context to what Ben already covered, and also provide a little bit of an update on the progress we've made with our approved development plan so far. Okay, so last year we came in and we provided an overview of the company and what we're doing, what our intention to do in Lebanon is. And I wanted to just revisit a little bit of that information for anyone who wasn't able to attend last time or anyone online who did not see those presentations. Lilly's a global medicine company, and our purpose is to make life better for people around the world. We innovate, we discover, we manufacture medicines that make life better for our patients, and we really want to help as many patients as possible. Because of that, we're expanding our manufacturing facilities, and that includes the campus here in Lebanon. We announced our investment in manufacturing in Lebanon in 2022, and we've since then announced additional investment. Our total investment here for the manufacturing campus on the north side of the LEAP district is $9 billion. We also are expecting to create up to 900 jobs at that facility. Earlier this month, though, I do want to touch on, we announced a investment in the Lilly Medicines Foundry. You saw some of that in the previous presentations. That is at a different location. That is different from the manufacturing campus. The jobs created for that are separate from the 900 jobs that we're creating through our facilities for manufacturing. And the scope of the development for the Medicine Foundry is completely separate to what we're talking about today. All right, I'd like to just give a high-level overview of the changes. Ben went through them, but we have some visuals also to show you a little bit more of what that would look like. This here is our campus that is really a very, very high level of our campus. We covered some of this last year, but there's two separate manufacturing sites within the 600-acre campus, LP2, or our Advanced Therapies Manufacturing Site, and LP1, Lebanon API Manufacturing. The changes that we're talking about are applicable to LP1. Within that facility, what we'll be doing is making active pharmaceutical ingredients. So those are the material that's in the medicine that you take that actually produces the therapeutic effect in the body. All of what we're going to show today is related to LP1, like I said previously. So this slide and the next slide show you what our previous development plan looked like and what the changes are proposed. So this shows what we came in and talked about in 2023. The image shows the plan for the LP1 site that was the basis of the original development plan. There were 4 main manufacturing buildings within that development plan. So one small molecule building that's at the top left of your screen, the oligonucleotide building, and then 2 peptide manufacturing buildings towards the bottom of the screen. That was what was contained in the original development plan. And then on this slide, you can see the updated development plan, which has a few changes. You can see a modified arrangement of the manufacturing buildings. So that oligonucleotide building has been removed and replaced with a second small molecule manufacturing building located directly north of the first small molecule building. Ben mentioned this, but the second peptides building has also been increased in size. The layout of the site, though, it remains the same. So we've done a very intentional layout here to have our manufacturing buildings on the outside, providing some screening to the utilities area that is in the middle of the plant. And again, Ben covered this, but we have no exceptions around our planning standards that are associated with the amendment to our development plan. We're committed, again, to working close with the city. We've had great partnerships so far and appreciate that. The finishes for our buildings are quite high. I'll actually show you some of the progress we've made on that in a bit. We do have a cohesive campus design here. We're exceeding all of our setback requirements. Our bermings are in place, so you can see the bermings around the site if you drive up there. And landscaping requirements have all been met. And we won't be impacting the wetlands with this amendment. We weren't before. We still are not impacting the wetlands that are on the west side of the site. You know, in 2023, we spoke about why we're building here and what we're doing. So again, what we're trying to do with this development is to fulfill our mission of making medicine for patients. We're very excited about our pipeline. We're excited to bring new therapies to patients, and we're very excited to do that here in Lebanon and in Boone County. The site here will be providing cutting edge technology. So we're using very new technology to make medicine, advanced manufacturing platforms, and everything is fully automated, kind of best in class technology and equipment. A brief note on utilities. We know that utility supply is something that the community asks about quite a bit. So our plans are to maintain a commitment to sustainable manufacturing, responsible use of the resources that it takes us to make medicine. We are proposing an expansion of our solar farm by approximately 10 acres. That will increase our commitment to sustainable energy options for us. The solar farm remains just for us. We are not exporting anything out from the solar farm. It's for our own use to offset some of our energy needs. And then our water needs and the allocations to support the original 2023 plan have all been approved by Lebanon Utilities. The progression of the changes that we're proposing in this submission will obviously be subject to approval of the water allocation from Lebanon Utilities, and we have submitted our requirements and what would be needed for this additional the additional manufacturing buildings here. Just a couple more slides to provide an update on what we've done so far while we have a little bit of time with the commission here. So what you're looking at here is the current status of our project. We have started, as you can see in these pictures, we've started steel for all of our major manufacturing and administrative buildings on the site. The furthest along there is what we call the Cub building, or our central utilities building. It's in the bottom left picture there. You can see that the glazing is going on that building, so you're kind of able to see what the final finishes will look like. I like to tell people it's going to be the best looking utilities building ever. It is very nice finishes, though. Again, the appearance is important to us. We understand, the importance of that to the surrounding community. We've also begun to build our long site support team, so those folks that will be employed at the site for many, many years into the future. For LP1 alone, so just LP1, not including LP2, we've hired almost 200 new to Lilly employees. That doesn't include any of the construction jobs that are being created as well. These are people that will work at the site long term. Over 50% of those are from Indiana, so we're creating jobs for Hoosiers. And we are excited to be doing that. We'll also be hiring many more in 2025. We did hold a recruiting event here in Boone County at the fairgrounds. And as we look forward into 2025, we'll be doing more of those as our hiring needs ramp up. So we are very excited about the hiring and the jobs that this creates, but we also are very focused on ensuring that, the community sees the benefits of having us as a neighbor. We've spoken about our commitment to being an active member of the community for the long term, and we're building partnerships that hopefully will benefit the local community. In the past 18 months, we've worked with over 30 nonprofit organizations, both giving grants, but also giving time. We've supported them. We have a strong emphasis on volunteering with our team that we're creating. Over the past year, Lilly employees have taken part in over 2,000 hours of volunteer support within the community. We do hope that this helps these organizations, but it also helps our employees understand the commitment that we're making here in Boone County. Our support spans 4 key pillars. Those are listed here as healthcare, wellness, education, community, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. We are very proud to sponsor STEM locally in the community, and we've done over $50,000 worth of sponsorships and support of the schools for their STEM programming. Last, I just want to say, that's a very big thank you. Last, I do just want to say thank you. We've had great partnership here in the local community, both from the city, but then also other organizations. The parks have been wonderful. We've volunteered for 2 years for our Global Day of Service in the parks. We've had great partnership with the Farm Bureau and the Purdue Extension Office to come in and help educate our construction teams around driving around farm implements. So we do appreciate all that partnership and thank everybody for that. Questions? Is it okay if I have questions? All right.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. Any questions for Jen?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the updates. All right, Commission. We will open our final public hearing of the evening, and this will be the public hearing on docket number 24-35 in reference to the Lilly updates. If you have any comments, please feel free to step towards the microphone. Limit yourself to 3 minutes. Seeing no mad rushes, I will officially close that public hearing on docket 24-35. If there are no additional questions from the commission, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended development plan contingent on addressing any TAC comments.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All of those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. Thank you very much. Ben, I believe that's the last item I have on our docket. So unless there's anything else for the good of the commission, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. We've got a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? We have a second. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. We are adjourned. We will see you at our next scheduled meeting.